Hari Om. Sam no mitrasam varunaha sam no bhavatvaryama Sham na indro bruhaspatihi Sham no vishnururkramaha Namo brahmane Namaste vayo Tvameva pratyaksham brahmasi Tvameva pratyaksham brahma vadishyami Ratam vadishyami Satyam vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avatu mam Avatu vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. CVV Yoga Margasya Pravaktaram Param Gurum Gita Yogasya Paragyam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Kamalapatraksham Punyasravanakirtanam Vasudevam Jagadyonim Naumi Narayanam Harim Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranatakleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So on the other day, we have studied 3 stanzas from the 15th chapter of the Bhagavdageeta. So in the 3rd stanza we have seen how the twigs are intertwined of this tree. The roots and the twigs get intertwined, and this is the tree of this creation. And we cannot find the beginning or ending because it is continuous like that. And when you are revolving and you begin to follow it, you revolve in never-ending spirals also. So how to get out of this? That is, in the 3rd stanza we have seen that you have to cut your way out, and for cutting an axe you need, and that axe is axe of non-attachment. So the axe of non-attachment is very much to be applied to get out of the spirals of this tree. So that is what we have been studying. So asanga sastrena drudhena chitva. Asanga means non-attachment. You already wrote down this also.
Asanga Shastra.
Asanga Shastra. Shastra means weapon.
Yeah.
So the weapon what you have to use to cut the way out is non-attachment. Asanga Shastra. So asanga means non-attachment. So that means we should not get into attachment on any level, that is asanga. If we have attachment, even also at the planetary level, for example, and with the planets also, because we may be careful in applying non-attachment in our daily transactions, but once again, for example, if you look into your chart, astrological chart, and look into your planetary positions, then you find some are favorable, some are unfavorable in the horoscope. And when you don't use this non-attachment there also, then you will get attached to find out what result is given to you, and wishful again, because whatever is favorable you like it, whatever is unfavorable you like to. So this is also a type of attachment. So a non-attachment should be practiced all in the daily life, with those movable and immovable. Movable means all the beings, persons around us. Immobile means all the objects. And so with everybody, and also with all the 5 states of matter, with the planets. So where should you use non-attachment? This you have to apply is about the qualities. That is where we have to remember. It is the qualities where you must, because when you are attached to the qualities, you cannot get at the Supreme, the Lord consciousness. Because, for example, when you see a person, when you are attached to the qualities, then you will make your mind will dwell upon the qualities of the person. Then you may have attraction or repulsion. You will get entangled in the pairs of opposites, they are called. Desire and hatred, attraction, repulsions, all these things. So where you get stuck up among these things, so then what happens? You will make friends and enemies. That is another thing. Because of this attachment with the qualities. And your relationships also in your daily life. When your mind dwells only on the relationship, attached to the relationship, then your transaction is no more with the inner person. You will not remember the indweller. So then what happens is you will get entangled in all the rut of the tree. This tree.
The form aspect. Yes.
The form aspect. Then you have no way out. And that is why he says you have to cut as and when to make out your way. Your way means towards the inner light. Your path, you must clear your path towards the inner light, which is in you and also in every movable and immovable in this creation. Because when you try to keep in contact with the inner light, then it is the same, because inner light is not so many. It is only one light, the I am, the Supreme, the Lord Consciousness. All other things are what we can say I have. When we were studying Yoga Sutras of Patanjali also about non-attachment, we were explained these things. We have two aspects, what I am and what I have. What I am is the Lord Consciousness in us. And what I have is the qualities. So when you get attached to what I have, then you are blocked from getting into the light of the Lord Consciousness, the I am. That is
It's a self-blockage.
self-blockage, self-conditioning.
Yes.
And the self-conditioning itself is the bondage. And what you call liberation is getting out of the self-conditioning. In Sanskrit we say moksha. Moksha means liberation. And liberation is not elsewhere. That is where people make a mistake. They think that you have to get liberation from somewhere else. No. To get out of the self-conditioning. And who made this? Ourself. Because when we are created by the God, God never creates us in a conditioning. We condition ourselves by getting attached to the qualities and not the inner light. So that is what to reach the inner light, the indweller. It is Purushottama. That is why the name of this chapter is Purushottama Prapti Yoga. Purushottama Prapti. Attaining Purushottama. Purushottama means Lord Supreme. That is the main aspect of this 15th chapter. Purushottama Prapti. Prapti means attaining. That is the name. So, and also attachment to the results of actions, that is another attachment. If you are attached to the results of the actions, then also you are lost, because this was explained very well in the prior chapters, the 3rd chapter, other chapters. Because action is what is required. You should not give up action. That is what Lord says also in the 3rd chapter. If you give up action, you have no purpose of living.
Yeah, because the whole life is action.
It is. That is what first initially Lord says. If you really think that you can be without any action, that is self-deception also, because how can you live without action? Even if you may not move your body, but your mind you cannot shut up. That is also always keeps working. So that is what Lord explained in those chapters. So here also asanga, using non-attachment, means non-attachment apply even with the results of the deeds.
But
and also your impressions. That is another thing. Conditioning
actions.
Yes.
Is a difference between these actions, what is meant here.
Yes. No. Actions are what we have to do. It is one we
want to do.
You have to make a classification. Master has given wonderful lecture about this actions. We do so many things every day in our daily life. Right from the morning till night, we do so many things. But Master says, you have to make just a discrimination, a classification. What I have to do, what I want to do.
Yeah.
You classify these two things, separate them, and filter out what I want to do, you put it aside, and attend to what I want, I have to do. What I have to do are those which belong to our duties. Because they are associated with the needs, with our needs and needs of others, because needs are common for everybody. So what I have to do is to attend to the needs. What I want to do are infinite. Because our mind keeps on making so many impressions, images and all these things, and that builds up so many in the form of desire, what I want to do, what I want to do. And these are all based on our impressions about objects and about the other beings.
But this is related to our senses.
Oh, yes, it is mind. That is through the senses, it is the mind which is receiving always. So what I have to do, desire is made in the mind. So here we have to filter by using this non-attachment, this weapon. Because our mind makes so many impressions about other persons. This person is good, this person is bad, this is useful, this is useless. Like this, hundreds of impressions with every person. And our mind carries a big load of these impressions. With each person, many impressions, with many persons multiplied. So it is a big load. And who has given this load? We have taken the load. Nobody gives this load. And after some time we feel, oh, God has given so much burden to me. God never gives any burden. God has given us a good instrument to make a proper use. He never gives difficulties, He never gives burdens, He never gives problems. But many people, when they made so many problems around them by their wrong actions, after some time they feel that, oh, God is testing me because so many problems I got. But Master always used to make a joke, God has no other thing to do than to test you. Are you so important in the universe that the God is always puts his attention to test you? Master always makes a joke of this. So Master used to say, it is too much for you to think that God is testing you.
Another glamour.
Another glamour this.
Yes.
So the problem, and always he used to tell that the human being is so wise in the sense that he can create problems for himself, so many problems, which are not actually, there are no problems actually, but he can create problems and then starts how to solve this.
This is the wisdom, the human wisdom.
So all this is because we don't use this non-attachment. That is what the Lord says. You have to apply asanga sastrena drudhena chitva, firmly. When, for example, when you have to cut something obstructing, when you use an axe, you have to cut it firmly. So this also firmly. Firmly means how? Firmly means apply until you get into the habit. That is firmly. Suppose I call her my wife. So when I only remember as my wife, then I have all the qualities around her, about us. And what comes into my mind, the picture is all her qualities. External appearance, all her form and her qualities, and sometimes favorable, sometimes unfavorable, all these things. So this I call my wife, but I never remember that it is the inner light. Because we always remember in terms of these things. So we have to apply this. But then many people may fear that when you apply non-attachment, then if I lose all these relationships, if you don't lose anything, you have to lose something which is unrequired. That is also there. Someone asked Master, if I get into the practice of yogic practice and practice of prayer, yoga and all these things, what is it that I gain? Master said, you won't gain anything. It is for losing many things.
Yeah.
You have many unrequired things, a big load of unrequired things with you, which you can't get rid of them. So by practice of yoga and prayer and all these things, it makes you possible to get rid of those things, unrequired things, and you will be left with only required things. Then your life will be happy. Otherwise, we want to be happy, but we can't be happy because we are dwelling on these things.
Yes, we think for happiness we need a lot of stuff.
We always want happiness, but never we are happy because all the unrequired things are there. Every moment our mind keeps on doing this. So, this attitude is called asanga. This attitude always to focus to the inner light and try to ignore the qualities. That is asanga. Asanga, non-attachment.
Yeah.
So it should be stronger. Stronger means we have to, we must be able to apply every time, always.
And the next question of the man is, how long it will be?
Until it becomes his habit.
And Master said, as long as the question is there.
Yes, always Master said, until how long I have to practice yoga?
Yes.
Until this question fades away from your mind.
Yes. Exactly.
Good answer.
Yes. Master's answers are straight like that always. To cut when I was required.
But this question alone is intellect question.
Yes, that is.
It has nothing to do with the.
It says it's most unpractical question.
Yes.
How long I have to do?
Yeah.
Similarly, when they come for treatment with homeopathy, after all allopathic treatments, then immediate question is how long I have to take this medicine. So by using this weapon of non-attachment, then what will you will get at the center of everything. Center is the I am. The central light is I am. Otherwise, if you try to follow the way of these roots and branches and all these things, what happened is, for example, when you go along the root, you will reach the branches. And once again, when you go along the branches, you will reach the root. Ascending and descending into the spirals. It is similar to when we make a proposal. That proposal leads to an action, and an action is followed by its result. And therefore, one after another, one leads to into another one. That is what it forms a chain action.
Another action.
Yes. Because I want, for example, Master has given many examples for this. He says, when somebody, he is working as a teacher, for example, in the school, he sees his friend who is a neighbor and who is a businessman. So he is earning so much. This fellow thinks, after all, I am a teacher, my salary is limited. But this fellow is earning so much. If I am also, I can also earn by doing business. But he is not fit for business. Everybody is fit for something. We have to know the fitness. If we only compare with others, then we always step into a wrong action. So this fellow went to the bank, taken loan, and started a business for which he is not fit, and he loses the money, and he is left with the debt. He has to repay to the bank. So for this he has, to repay this he has to do another loan, to repay this loan, then he has to pay. So like this, that is what is happening from one birth to the other birth for us also. From one action to another action. So it makes a chain of action and result like this. So if you are to run among these things, then you will never reach the stem, the center, which is I am. And you can never find the beginning or ending of this. Because everybody has his own nature, his individual nature. And his individual nature is always, it gets bulk of this like a big trunk of the tree. Because he around his individual nature, everything is intertwined because of our actions and their results. Actions not what they have to do. What I want to do are so many. So many proposals. The mind makes so many proposals. And if you want to fulfill each proposal, then you are entangled. That is how. Because all the three qualities, because they are based on these three qualities. And what is called swabhava. Swabhava means the personal nature. So you have to try to use this non-attachment to get out from this personal nature. Because it is based on all these proposals, self-proposed things. That is what the Lord says also in the previous chapters we have studied. He says, I dispose what I propose, but not what you propose. If we reach the one proposal, then we are always guided. That is, one proposal means proposal from the above. If we are running after our own proposals, then we are lost. So we should train ourselves not to make any proposals by ourselves. You just keep responding what is coming to you.
Yes.
But don't make a proposal by yourself. That is where we have to use this non-attachment, even to the proposals also. Because if you just allow your mind to make a proposal and follow it, then you get attached to it. And the whole life is wasted by trying to resolve all the problems because of these wrong proposals. So in the fourth stanza is Tatah padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyah tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yata pravrutti prasruta purani. Tataha, then tat padam parimargitavyam, we have to try to trace that path, the path which, by taking which you will never return to the rut, to the entanglements. It is such path. And how can you do that? By surrendering yourself to the person, the Supreme. So that is what in the fourth stanza it says. You see, this gives you the path. The meaning of the stanza is given here, the fourth stanza. This gives you the path. What gives you the path? When you cut with the non-attachment, weapon of non-attachment, this gives you the path. Begin to do it. It shows the path. You cannot, how can you see the path? When you start doing it, then only you can see the path. When you start to apply the non-attachment, by cutting by non-attachment, for example, when you are walking in a forest where there is no particular path, if you want to make a path, what you do, you have a small knife or small something to cut, and you cut and move forward. So you can find some path only when you cut, and again after going some furthermore, you make some more path by cutting. So that is what is, begin to do it. Begin to apply it. Action. Because if you know what is non-attachment, it is not enough unless you apply it. That is what Lord has explained in the 3rd chapter, 5th chapter again and again. Because every time Arjuna has a question. Of course, Master said Arjuna was, he has to question for us. Not that Arjuna is such a fool like this thing, he is a yogi. But he just put his questions. So, he always, many times asked, you asked me to get into action. You ask me also, knowledge is important. So therefore, whether action is important, whether knowledge is important, that is what he questioned. Then the Lord said in the previous chapters, in the 3rd chapter, he said that, the 5th chapter, he said that doing and knowing are like the two ends of a straight line. You have a straight line. So a straight line has two ends, this end and that end. So doing and knowing are like two ends of a straight line. You start at the one, you will reach the other. That is what the Lord says. So here also, begin to do it. It shows the path.
Then you know it.
Then you know it.
Yes.
Without doing, without starting to do, you cannot find the path. A path found after a period of trial and error. Because through many births, that's the path. It's a trial and error, and everybody has to come to this path only. This is the path of no return. When once you made the path, you entered, started to tread the path, it's the path of no return. Such is this path. By following this path, you approach the one cosmic person. So that is what is important. You will approach the one cosmic person by following this path. Where from all the ancient activity of this creation has crept in. All the activity of this creation, all the ancient activity of this creation, from where it has come, from this cosmic person, Purushottama. So the path which is before you after applying non-attachment, that is the right path. That we have to remember. Because sometimes we feel that how can we know which is the right path and which is not. So the path which is before you after applying non-attachment, that is the right path which leads you in a proper direction. And those who follow this path by applying non-attachment, there is no occasion, no need for them to return back, to turn back. That is why it is called the path of no return. Because if you go along this path, you will reach the person, cosmic person, supreme person, and you will surrender to them. So he is the trunk of this tree. And all this tree, which is beyond time and space, has spread. So that is this tree. So what is this path? What is this path to be? Because tatah padam tat parimargitavyam. You have to search for this. What is this? So it is, generally we think that it is the relationship between the action and the result, but it is not. This is in another chapter we have studied. There is a ladder of ascent and ladder of descent like this. So when you go along the result, the action and the result, then you will be revolving. Because if you go by the result and thinking about the result, you get into another action. So this becomes a circular, and then you will be going around the circle and you will not get out. Therefore, you have to take such a path which will lead you to the ultimate cause for this, not these causes. Because there are on this level, actions and causes are many. But what is the cause of this whole tree of creation? So towards that you have to, your attention should be to reach that, your aim is. So that will be possible only if you make the path by applying non-attachment. That is what is it given here. There is a parable in the Rig Veda about the tree. In one of the suktas, the parable is that there are two birds on a tree. The two birds are dwelling on the tree because that is the dwelling place. Among these two birds, one bird is enjoying the sweet fruit of the tree, and the second one is enjoying, but the second bird is not eating the fruit. The first bird is eating the fruit and enjoying. The second bird is not eating the fruit but enjoying. These two birds, these two birds are there taking this tree as their abode, but actually they have no understanding of this tree. So these two are called Prakriti and Purusha. So these birds go on moving around and coming again back on the tree only. They stay on the tree only. So these birds are the symbols of all these devas who are working, for this creation. And these two birds are also on our plane. We have to understand those who are tasting this fruit, but they really, those who realize can experience the happiness, ultimate happiness, but not just by merely tasting, because the fruit is the result of our actions. So we make so many actions for the results, and the results we try to enjoy. But we are only around these things and not trying to recognize what is the cause or what is the base of this. There we have to reach. So, because if you try to know, you may enjoy the taste, but if you try to know this fruit and all this, what is the cause of what is this fruit from, what is inside? What you call taste is also only how you feel. When I say apple is sweet, to whom it is sweet? Not for itself. That is what is also in this parables you find. You call it fruit. To whom it is a fruit? For us it is a fruit. For itself, what is it? And we call it sweet. To whom it is sweet? For us, not for itself. So for itself, it is the same what you are for you. What I am for me, the same thing is what it is for itself. For us it is fruit, for us it is sweet. So all this fruit, sweetness, and all these things are for our observation. For itself it is the same I am. That is what we have to realize. So this is the fruit, because there are many stories about the fruit. You see, even in Bible also there is the fruit, the forbidden fruit. Because the man is given everything, all the fruits, everything to enjoy. But only one fruit was forbidden. So he wants to taste this fruit because it is forbidden. That is the nature of human fellow. So, those who have crossed the pairs of opposites, those who have crossed scandal and praise, these are pairs of opposites. Because this is also an attachment. When you praise me, then I get attached to this, and then I feel, oh, they have praised me, so they are very good. And if there is a scandal from another person, then I get depressed. That is also attachment. On the other side, always I think of the scandal which the other person spread upon me, and I feel angry about the other person. That is also attachment. So praise and scandal. So all this is to be cut by the weapon of non-attachment. So we have the affections, and also we have the feeling of separation. All these things, because you see in our mundane life, why we are suffering is because of these feelings. When you are away from the person whom you like very much, then you feel very much because of sense separation. Because you don't feel the presence of the person, you feel only the nearness physically of the form, but not the presence of the person. This is because of your attachment to the form, once again, not with the indweller. If you are really with the indweller, inner light, then even though you are far away, you are not affected. Attachment means, what is attachment? Attachment means getting habituated to get attracted through the activity of your senses towards certain thing, certain person or certain thing, and always tends to get near that only, always clinging. So that is attachment. So that will be with either persons or with the results of our actions. All these will draw you attached towards these attachments. So therefore, you must train yourself repeatedly to apply this non-attachment. So always, how in our daily life, how can we do it? We have to practice it. That is, practice means abhyasa, repetition. You have to. That is why in the very beginning, in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, you find abhyasa, vairagya. Abhyasa and Vairagya. Same thing also in Bhagavdageeta. Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyam. Abhyasa and Vairagya. These two are, so these are two go hand in hand. These two instruments are always together we have to apply. So in daily life, in every aspect, you have to remember this. In every action what you are doing, you have to remember this. So practice to apply Vairagya. When a proposal comes to you to do anything, immediately you apply Vairagya and find out whether it is what you have to do, whether it is your duty or not. So then you will be gradually coming to the center of everything and not deviated and not always rotating in the path. And then we have to remember that everything starts from the Lord consciousness, not from our proposals. This is how we have to gradually realize. The cause of everything is the indweller consciousness, the Lord consciousness. That is the cause of everything. Because if you base only on the changing values, happiness, unhappiness, all these are changing values. Because real happiness never changes. But what we always do is, we try to attach happiness to something. Then always, what you call happy today, what you call comfortable today, it will be changing. For example, now it is very cold outside, then you keep heating inside, say heat is very comfortable, I am happy. But after few months, when outside it is hot, then you keep heating, then you cannot say you are happy. He is unhappy if you keep heating inside. So it is changeable. All these are changing measures. So these are not the absolute measures. So we must try to get at the absolute.
I have always the impression that this kind of happiness, what we are trying to understand here, this is very deeply related with joy.
Yes.
Yeah, not the outer joy, and the joy of life.
Yes.
So, because this is always there.
Yes. That is always there.
I have not to do anything for this kind of happiness.
Because happiness is never temporary. It should not be. It is not. It is eternal.
This is yes.
Happiness is eternal. Happiness belongs to the inner light.
Yes. But
Therefore, it is eternal.
in my understanding, it needs a kind of inner silence. If this inner silence is disturbed, then you cannot come to this point of happiness. This is my
It is because
experience.
you have
For the
subjective.
moment.
You have a subjective existence and objective existence. Both are there because you cannot eliminate any of these things. Subjective and objective existence. So what you find from the teaching of Bhagavad-Gita or Patanjali is that you must get active in your subjective existence and you should get passive to the objective existence. Before entering into yogic practice, it is on the reverse. We keep active on the objective existence, objective world, and we keep passive to our subjective existence. Subjective existence means the I am, the indweller. We are passive to that and we are active on the outside world. objective. So we must practice to be active in subjective existence. Then you constantly are in the experience of happiness. Your recognition of other persons and other objects, this is not exclusion. This is where we must be careful. That is what here many times it is explained. Be alone, not lonely. Be alone by inclusion, not by exclusion. This is what is given in this scripture. Be alone means be as the I am. I am is only one.
Be at one.
That is be alone, but not lonely. That means when you practice this, then you are not affected by the presence of other persons. Otherwise, sometimes we like persons, sometimes we don't dislike persons, and sometimes we feel we cannot, we can feel disturbed by the presence of other persons. So when you practice this, you are no more disturbed. Nothing can disturb you. You will be disturbed only because when you become active on the objective level. So in all these things we have to apply this weapon of non-attachment and keep making our path the path of no return. And that is what is
It's,
nirmana moha.
now I was thinking attachment, as I understand it now, is wanting to getting used to something and wanting to keep repeating.
Yes, attachment is such thing like getting used to something.
And then not wanting to live without that.
Yes.
Like it can be something comfortable, it can be something uncomfortable. Sometimes we have all these uncomfortable feelings, but we are used to them, so we keep repeating. we get attached to them.
Yes. It is what is called habit.
Yes.
For example, if you have something very bitter, first time when you taste it, it's very bitter. So you feel rejection of it. Second time, once again, if you put this, it's bitter, but less bitter, you feel. Third time, much more less. And after a few times, then you will feel it sweet, even though it is bitter.
Yes, we get used to it.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
That is what is getting into attachment.
Yes.
So, avyayam means unspendable. Gacchantya moodha padam avyayam tat. That is the path which is unspendable, which all the wise persons take the path. That is the path. This gives you the path. That is what. Now the fifth stanza. Nirmana moha jita sanga doshaha adhyatmanitya vinivritta kamaha dvandvair vimukta sukhatukha sangaihi gacchantya moodha padamavyayam tat. That is the fifth stanza. What he says is, no opinion, no supposition, no prejudice, no self-allurement. It's four important things. No opinion. That is the first thing. Because our mind always is habituated to make an opinion immediately about an object, about a person. opinion. That is in homeopathic terminology, that is called sora. When I meet first time a person, I meet Rudolph for example first time, immediately in my mind, oh yes, he is a very good person. If you make this opinion, what happens after some time, if he denies something to you, then your opinion changes immediately. As long as he says, so Ananta is telling very good what he is telling, then I say, oh, Rudolph is very good person. This is opinion in my mind. If sometimes he says, what you said now is wrong, then immediately my opinion changes. So, this opinion is a very dangerous thing about persons and these things.
Yeah.
Opinion forming. No supposition, no prejudice, and no self-allurement. This is the approach you have to make. This is very important. All these four. You have to remember
On
all
what
this.
page is this?
323.
Yes.
In Andhra scripture, 323 page.
Okay.
This is the fifth stanza. So no opinion, no supposition, no prejudice, no self-allurement. This is the approach you have to make. No attachment to action. So nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatmaniccha vinurutta kama. No attachment to past or future. So very clearly it is given. No attachment to action. You are expected to make your action, but without attachment.
But this leads to the deeper understanding of this living in the now.
Yes. Action is required, but
Yes.
without attachment.
Yeah.
No attachment to action, no attachment to past or future. That is also a very important thing. That is where always our mind always dwells either in the past or in future.
It has to be in the now.
This is very important because otherwise we carry all the load when you are past. When something wrong happened to us, we have undergone much pain, we have undergone so many situations which are painful. Okay, it is finished. You have to leave them. Again and again we try to dwell upon it. Oh, I have undergone so much of pain, so much of... Yes, it is our past karma, we have undergone that. Suppose I was put in prison. So now you are free. Why should you think of that? What you have to do now? So, whatever difficulties I have undergone before, they are for some training. It is a reality. We got many difficulties in childhood or in middle age, whatever it may be. Every human being will have certain type of difficulties. Okay. But what is in the past is gone. It's past. You cannot undo now. That is where we have to use our discrimination. Yesterday I have eaten something which is wrong, which is not required. So I got pain and discomfort. And today, if I keep thinking yesterday I have eaten that, I should not have eaten that. How foolish it is. I should not have eaten that, but I have eaten. I should not have done this, but I have done this, and I got the result of it. So it is finished. Don't do it again. That is the only thing what you have to do. What you have done wrong, don't do it again. You try to do the better now. But if all again and again you think, oh, that day I should not have done this that day, gone to the past. So this is.
But this is this living in the now.
No attachment to the past and also to the future.
How can you get attached to the future?
Dreaming, by dreaming.
What you want.
By dreaming. Dreaming. Tomorrow.
When we want to do something.
This is what you hear very often in your country. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.
Tomorrow. In India.
So, some are in the past,
tomorrow.
some are in the future. Future also. Future is, for attachment to the future means, if I want to do this and I can make these plans, these things I have to do. Keep planning.
I want to have grandchildren.
I want to have this, I want to have that.
But this is a big glamour.
It's big glamour because future. And how will be my future? That is another thing. There are many people who go to clairvoyants, who go to this and to know that what is my future. What is your future? What you have to do now is do it. How I will be tomorrow, it depends upon how you are today.
Absolutely.
So simple. How whether tomorrow I will be healthy or not, it depends upon what you did today. This tomorrow it will be. So you can plan something, that is different. You have to make a plan. You make a plan and keep doing it. Tomorrow I have to go to the France. So we have got our tickets reserved and it's finished. That's over.
Yesterday we decided to go to tomorrow.
Finished.
We did it.
But every day I have to go to the France. You have to go to the France after some days, not now.
I said also, I have to take my train, and then
They won't sleep.
He missed the train.
Because now he got a habit to always do it in the future.
This is a symptom. He won't sleep and he won't let his colleague also to sleep. Such fellows are there. The whole night they won't sleep because tomorrow I have my journey. Your journey is tomorrow. Why you sleep now? You can sleep happily. Tomorrow you will be fresh to make a journey. There are some fellows, many fellows.
Many people.
They say, well, I have to make this tomorrow. And when you start for the journey, and how it will be when he then thinks of the program, what you have to do there. But you can do the program only after reaching there. Before reaching, you have some time in between. So what can you do? It is not in your hands. But now I see many people, because now you have all this handy phone. When you start, they say, I have started now. That's stupid.
I'm coming.
And when one station is over, one station passed, this station passed, now we are in Lausanne. But you are not getting down in Lausanne. Why? What is the need?
I'm just coming.
Just coming. So this is all glamour.
It travel not so often, but you have people, they telephone from Bern until Lausanne.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Sitting very close to you in the train, and they get into the train and then they start. And in Lausanne they have to go out, so they have to stop the telephone call.
So, like this for future, about future. And everything is that you have to remember that everything is ever present.
Yeah.
This is the approach you have to make. Mind ends in spirit. When you make such an approach, what happens is mind ends in spirit. Desires disappear in mind. So, it is a right direction. When your mind ends in spirit, desires disappear in mind. Senses withdrawn from objects. This is the approach you have to make. Because senses are the tendency of the senses is always to go out and get attached with the objects.
Yeah, but this is true.
Those who are liberated from the pairs of opposites, like happiness and sorrow, follow the path of no return. Like, dislike, happiness, sorrow, all these pairs of opposites. We have to be liberated from these pairs. So, for example, I want to reach some place. So what is important is you have to reach the place. So if it is possible, you can take a flight. If it is not possible, you can take a train. If it is not possible, you take a car. So what is your aim is to reach the place. So if you are attached, when you feel only I am comfortable by taking a flight, and then if you could not take the flight, if you are asked to go by train, then you are unhappy. Oh, so many hours I have to spend in the bloody train like that. You see, make yourself unhappy because so that is what he says. You must be liberated from the pairs of opposites, sorrow and happiness and sorrow, all these things. So those who are liberated like this, they are never allured of their path, because they cut the way and step forward. They cut the way by using non-attachment and move forward. Then only you can make a progress. Whatever you call that, they call it the path to the unspendable source.
To the unspendable
Source. So therefore we have to remember that the pairs of opposites are always responsible to make us once happy and once unhappy in our experience. Because they have no permanent values. These are all temporary. This we have to know. So a person who is not trained will get attached and always gets to unhappiness. He wants to be happy, but he gets into unhappiness. So you have to take all these equally with a composure, and you have to make practice of this. Take equally. That is possible when you neutralize expectation and anticipation. So when you can be liberated from expectation and anticipations, then you are stabilized in happy experience. So that is what is explained in this 5th stanza. You have to remember always, because it's very important. No opinion. And always we have to, every moment we have to try to put into action. No opinion. Whenever we have any get opinion in mind, immediately we have to remember, no opinion. No opinion, please. we have to put a reminder. No opinion, no supposition, no prejudice, no self-allurement. These are important. Next, in the 6th stanza, Natat bhasayate. What is your question?
It's not a question, but it's just to get into the
Integration.
if somebody tell you, I don't know, please come to my place and give a lecture, you must have an opinion if you go or not go. I mean, what is the link between discrimination and opinion? Because you see, if you don't know the person, you must have an opinion to know if it is good to go there or not good to go there, for instance. So it's opinion and discrimination, the link.
Suppose if you are totally submitted,
Mm-hmm.
if you practice total submission, then you will receive an invitation only if it is required, because you have not proposed it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
And that will be materialized only if it is according to the higher plan. Because when you have not proposed this, you just respond to the need without any opinion. You will not invite it, you will not reject it by your decision. Then the proposal, if it is, then what happens is, if you totally submit yourself to this, to the indweller, to the inner consciousness, then always it comes, if it is really needed only, then comes to you. That is my experience.
Mm-hmm. I have another example. Somebody wants to give you some donation, but I remember a case that it is not good to accept this donation. So that's something has come to you, but you felt it is not good to accept it.
Yes, then you can.
It's
You
also
can then you can say that now it is not needed.
so you have used the discrimination.
Yes, you have to.
Yeah.
When you have no prejudice, then it will be clear for you.
Mm-hmm. You know you must not accept, or you know
Yes.
it is to be accepted.
I can tell you one instance.
Yes, I remember one.
Eh?
Please tell you if it is the same one.
This is about when I was in Belgium.
Yes, I was thinking with Bethlehem.
Yeah,
Bethany?
Bethany.
Yes, that's why I was thinking
Yes,
about.
yes. We were invited to a family
Uh-huh.
in Belgium that time.
I was
when,
there, that's why I remember.
Yes, I was there with my wife and my son when he was little. And she invited, and we stayed one night there.
I was there.
You were there
I was
also.
with you, yeah.
And in the morning, that lady, she used to attend master's lectures also. She likes master very much. They are very rich persons. They have much wealth and all this. In the morning, she said to me, I have made a decision. What is the decision? Master told me in my meditation that I should give away all my wealth, all my property to you. So I have contacted my lawyer to prepare so that I can make a document and hand it over to you, all my wealth, all my property. Because my husband also accepts what I propose. Nobody opposes me. So I received from Master this instruction. So therefore, you have to accept this. All the properties, big property in Belgium. Then I just for a few minutes, I projected to my Master and immediately told her, yes, very good. So because you are in contact with Master, it's okay. But also he is a Master to me, not only to you. He was not only a father, but he is a Master. I am also a disciple of the same Master. So he should tell me to receive it. He told you to give it. That's true for you. He has to tell me to receive it. As soon as I receive this instruction from him, I will definitely receive from you. So till now I have not received anything. Please excuse me. I said,
this is the right way.
It was you said, yes, but he didn't tell me anything.
Yes.
It's delicate, huh?
Very delicate,
it's very delicate to say that properly to the person.
Yes.
Yes.
But you should not know here. You only...
Yes.
You have to use non-attachment very carefully.
Yes, it was very delicate.
At the same time, you should not hurt the other person.
This is also a point.
This is also a point.
Not to hurt others.
Yes,
but to please her, if I receive this, what can I do?
And to help her, and to help her in the situation.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You have to discriminate.
Yes.
And
yes.
in between.
Surely.
It's important,
Because these donations or this giving of wealth, this should not...
Big responsibility.
Yes, this should not... For instance, if a rich person has a certain lifestyle and needs for this lifestyle, it should not touch this lifestyle. If she can give as much that the lifestyle is not touched, then it is not so difficult to accept a part of this wealth. But if it is the total, you have to, because this is the end of the lifestyle of this person when she totally, and this is, I think, this is a misunderstanding. Yes. You should never make yourself to a beggar. Because as long as you have a certain level in the society, you are more free than if you are a beggar, because if you depend on other persons. So this is a very delicate point here, because this is very often emotional reactions by the people, and they were living in 40, 50 years in tremendous wealth, and they are not really sure if this is correct or not.
Yes.
And it may have to help these people that they understand this wealth is also here for helping others. This is correct. But not to destroy my own level of social standard. So I operated until now as in this way. Also for me, I am ready to help and to give as much as I can, but I will not touch on my own standard of life, because then I cannot go further in this way. If I am becoming a problem, then I need others to help me out of the. But if I am not a problem to others, then it's easier to help. So we have to we have to see very clearly.
Yes.
We have to give as much as is also the responsibility for ourselves.
And this discrimination comes from non-attachment.
Yes,
Yes.
also, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You can do it this
Yeah, surely.
Yes.
Non-attachment is when you have to make a decision, this decision should not be based on any opinion,
Yeah.
Supposition, prejudice.
supposition and all these things.
No.
Only from the
Only from-
subjective life.
Yes, and for what the purpose. The higher, not personal purpose, it's a
No.
higher purpose. Then it is not difficult for you to receive this decision. It should not be our decision.
No.
That is where.
I think it comes also
It
to
comes.
you. It comes to you. It is not in your meditation. Nothing. This is a very practical approach from
Yes.
a person or from another fellow, and then the stone is rolling. Then.
Yes.
So, but if it is this always a kind of glamour if you have it in your own meditation and so on.
Oh.
This comes from the subconscious.
Yes.
They have to be very careful here.
It should be very impersonal
And,
and free of emotion,
yes. And very constructive, should be very constructive.
constructive, and all these things.
Yeah.
If it is really
A need.
coming from
It's a need.
from higher,
It has to be a need.
it
for
will be very, you see, for example, this year we have constructed the prayer hall, Master Ki prayer hall. So it is not just a proposal from any personal proposal. It came as a proposal from the group mind, group consciousness. And then I said, if it is really a proposal coming from higher, then it will take its own shape.
Mhm.
Just we will observe.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
We should not get emotionally
No.
attached to it.
Mm.
Then after this, what happened after some time, then an association of people, there is in that place, area, there is, and they said, we are donating a piece of land for your organization
Yeah, voila.
for construction of the hall. So this association, they made a meeting, and this meeting all the members, they decided, they agreed for this.
No, then it's okay.
Because this organization is very good organization, so we are giving this piece of land for them to construct a hall. So they made a donation of the...
Sri Selam is the same.
This is also the same. So then, after this, now the question is to start construction. That's a project that needs some plans, some money and all these things.
Yeah.
Okay, I said, now it is given. This also will be like that. We never specially approach and ask for this. If it is higher plan, then it goes like that. So then the plans was made, and then it came. So a person who is mainly responsible to build, before that I don't know him. Yeah, we have no touch. But he came, he was introduced to me, and very first time he told me, I felt like doing this for a good work.
Yeah.
So when I start, I complete it. And until the completion, whenever you receive any funds, you can pay me, but I don't stop the work for payment.
Yeah.
So
This is the right attitude. Yes.
It was the
builder,
plan and the construction.
construction, and all these things.
He did everything.
The
plan, the construction.
there is an architect who knows. He made the plan, and he made construction and all materials and everything. And many people, by themselves, they voluntarily came, and then, because when we started this, the value is 3.5 crores for us. But on account we have only 3 lakhs. It's impossible. to start the work. 3 lakhs means 300,000 rupees. But this is
Now it's better.
10 times more than 10 times. Oh, not 10 times more it is.
Very much.
Rupee has gone.
So, but since it is a proposal not personally, it came like that and everything is
Yeah.
Getting
into place and many people by themselves.
Mm.
And whenever we have to make a payment, amount used to come into the account. Somebody put the, and then we make the payment. And within 1 year the whole thing finished, inauguration is over, and now no more, not needed any amount.
Yeah.
Finished.
Yeah.
That is,
It's a big building.
yes.
But I had, not in this big sum, but when I worked in the Arkan school here, for the books and so on, it's
Yes.
a very similar situation.
For publications also, when we have a book to publish, when there is a need,
Yeah.
then somebody comes
Yes.
and then they say, I want to donate for the publication of master's book. It's
Yeah.
finished.
Exactly. This is
Every
the same
time-
what I experienced.
Every time, even this book.
Yeah.
This is the recent edition of the Mandala scripture.
Mm.
It came to our mind that we have to bring a good
Very,
edition with
very
a
good.
Sanskrit text. And within no time, a young man came. I know him. We know him before. He is a good printer. So he came suddenly to me and said, I have an offer for you. I want to make a best printing of one valuable book. Can you give a valuable book
Yeah,
to me?
it's like this.
So I gave this book and
Yeah.
printed.
Yeah. It's like this.
It's beyond logic.
And there's no logic, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Two meets.
Because the
Knowing
inner
and
group, the inner groups,
Yes.
they work
Eh,
and they make all these links.
yes.
Six.
Huh?
The sixth stanza.
Stanza.
So sixth
the
stanza.
Nice one, the sixth one.
न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. So the sixth stanza. Neither sun nor moon nor fire illumine this path. Since it is a path to the source of the illumination of sun, moon, fire, the path is the source for their illumination. They cannot illumine the path because they are illuminated by this path. Path is the source. They are of it and they are out as its reflected glory. This is the path of no return. Yad gatva nanivartante. Yad gatva, by taking this path, by taking which, na nivartante, there will be no return. Tad dhama paramam mama. It forms out of the dazzling illumination ayam. That is the path of ayam. That means the sun gives the illumination. But from whom he gets the illumination?
Yeah.
Because it is through the sun, not from the sun, what we get the illumination.
Yeah. Through the temple, not in the
Not that
temple.
in the temple.
This is the same.
The sun is like a focal point of the light which is coming from beyond him. So too the moon and so too the fire,
It is the same with our higher consciousness.
our higher
It's the
consciousness.
same. What we call soul.
So that source is the path. It's the path of no return. That illuminates the sun, the moon, the fire, and illuminates everything.
Yeah.
So that is the path of. So the sun, the moon, and the light of the candles and all these things, they are for our eye. But how they are able to illuminate, they are able to glow. If we put this question, the answer is, how our eye is able to experience the light?
Because I am behind the
Yes.
eyes.
Because it is the mind which is receiving the impression of the light.
Yeah.
And through the mind it is the inner, the indweller that is experiencing. Because indweller is with the indweller it is an experience, with the mind it is an impression. This we have to make a differentiation.
Discriminate, yeah.
Mind makes an impression, but the indweller has the experience, he experiences. Because that's the plane of experience. In the same manner, from the what we observe is coming from the sun means it is the nature of the sun to reflect, to project, and it is the nature of the moon to reflect.
But this is, yes.
So, in the sun and in our eye, so the relationship of the light of the sun and our eye makes it possible to receive the light. In both of these things, in the sun is also the same I am, and in us, who is the perceiver, also it is the same I am. So it is a contact of the I am. In the sun, that is what the Lord said in the 4th chapter, the very first stanza of the 4th chapter, that I have initiated sun god. When he said, I have initiated sun god, immediately Arjuna reacted. How is it possible? How can I believe that you have initiated the sun god? Because you are after all 9 days older to me. You and I were born now, and God is born times immemorial. How can I believe that you have... Then the Lord says, you and I are born again and again several times, but I am, the I am, knows that, and you, the you consciousness, forget always. So, I have initiated the sun god means I am, as the I am. So, here also, in the sun, we are perceiving the sun, light of the sun. So, the perceiver through the eye is also the same I am. And the sun, in the sun also it is the same I am. So, this is the relationship for this perception. And our eye cannot see itself. You see, through the eye you can see everything, but your eye cannot perceive yourself. In the same manner, sun cannot illumine himself. He receives illumination, and through him everything is illuminated. So, the real illumination is the illumination of the I am, the indweller, the Lord consciousness. And this is also, and this illumination, to experience this also, it is the mind takes this impression, and the mind also has to be submitted to the same I am in us. So, the path in this word, in this stanza, Dhama means the ultimate place. Dhama, tad Dhama paramam mama. That is the abode. Dhama means abode. That is the abode of the I am. Where is the abode of I am? In you, the perceiver also, it is I am, is there, indweller. So this indweller is the abode for all these things. So the one who perceives and the object of perception, these two, in both these, it is the same I am, that is the abode. Once again, we must take the example of the block of ice and water. That we have to remember that example always. When the block of ice is floating on water, so we see two objects. One is solid, one is liquid. But in both these block of ice and the water, in both these objects, it is only one essence, the I am. So also here, when you see the sun, so the sun and the one who is the perceiver, both are like the ice and block of ice and water. So in both, it is the I am only. That is how we are connected. So from the subtle planes, from the grosser planes, when we go into the subtler planes, more and more we try to go into the subtler and subtler planes of consciousness. That means focusing into subtle planes. Then we will realize that there are three aspects. Loka means the plane. And lokastha means the dweller of the plane. And lokesha, that means the governing deity of the plane. Loka, lokastha, lokesha. Loka means the plane. Lokastha means the dweller, the being of the plane. And Lokesha means the presiding you can call the presiding deity or presiding light of the plane. So these are the three items as it appear, but all the three are only three states of the same I am. Like how you have the differentiation of three states of the same entity as block of ice, water and vapor. So in essence, block of ice, water and vapor are one and the same. So in every plane, you have the plane, the being of the plane, who is the dweller of the plane, and the presiding consciousness of the plane, whom call the deity. So for example, we have our earth. So our earth is in its physical material plane of matter. And we are the beings in this plane. we are lokasthas. Earth is the plane of matter, and we are the lokasthas, we are the dwellers who are dwelling. And Lokesha, who is the presiding, whom we call the Mother Earth. In Sanskrit, it is called Bhumi, Bhumata. Bhumata means the Mother Earth. Mother Earth is not just the substance or the matter of the earth. It is the presiding consciousness.
Is it the anima mundi? The anima mundi?
Anima mundi is
No.
no. It is similar to ether. What you are talking.
Similar to?
He is talking about the physical matter.
The
matter
the
is
plane.
Uh-huh.
The material
The
plane.
presiding deity of the plane.
Yes.
The plane of our earth. Our earth is the physical plane.
Yes.
So the plane and we are the dwellers of the plane.
Just this.
And what we call earth is the presiding consciousness. So these three are the three different items, but it is of the same I am, the essence. So when we try to reach this I am, then we are, even though we are in this plane, but our consciousness has expanded to reach the one light. Then we are not conditioned. That is what we will attain is, we are never more conditioned by this. That is what is implied by in this stanza. Natad bhasayate suryo na sasanka. Sasanka means moon. Natad bhasayate suryo na sasanko na pavakaha. Surya means sun. Surya means sun. Sasanka means moon. Why he is called Sasanka is, Sasam means rabbit. Sasanka, when you observe this moon completely, when it is full moon, when you observe the moon, then you will have a shape inside the moon. It appears to your eye. That is like a rabbit. That is why he is called Sasanka. Atad bhasayate suryo na sasanko na pavakaha. Pavakaha. Pavaka means the purifier. That means the fire. Pavaka means purifier. So the fire is called Pavaka because he is the highest of all the purificatory objects. When you put into fire, that is completely purified. Water is also purifier, but fire is much more. To purify anything, Water is the best agent for purification, but fire is more. That is why you see, to take away all the impurities, gold is put into fire. Gold is put into fire and melted, and then you eliminate all the impurities. So fire is and also when we leave the body, physical body also, when it is put to fire, then it can again redistribute all this what is collected into this structure. And everything which is put into fire, it goes back to its elements. That is why fire is the transmuter. So natad bhasayate suryo asashanko na pavakaha. So this stanza is also, many times we have to contemplate upon this, because we always think that sun is, he is, because of the sun's light, we are being illuminated. So this illumination, it appears for us coming from the sun, from the moon and from the fire. But here it is explained that it is all this illumination is from only one source. That is the background of all this. That is the background of sun, background of moon, and background of fire. It is only one source. And that is the same which is there in the perceiver also. That is what in this you get in this stanza. It is formed out of the dazzling illumination I am. So the perceiver. So in our daily life also, in our daily transactions also, you must know that you are the observer, and who is observing in you? It is the one. It is the I am only. He is the observer. You are the observer, and all around is the object of our observation in the form of our environment, in the form of the persons and objects and all these things. They are the object of our observation, and the phenomenon of observing all this. So he is the observer, the indweller of the Lord, and he is also the object of observation, because every object, every person is filled by the same Lord consciousness. When you look at a flower, you are the observer, and you are trying to observe the flower and feel the fragrance, feel the color and all these things. But what is that you feel all this beauty of a flower? That is the Lord consciousness, radiation of this I am, illumination from the indweller. So in you as the observer, in that object of observation, from both ends it is, and also the process of observation also is the projection of the I am only. So like this, if you apply, then you will realize that ultimately it is always the I am, the Supreme Lord. And then you will realize that this Lord Supreme is not far from you. So that is what is explained in this chapter 15. But that is why it is called the Purushottama Prapti. How you will attain. I am that I am. How you will attain this I am. So that is, so much importance is given. Of course, every chapter is very important, and every sentence, every word is in the scripture. So once every stanza in this leads us to the indweller. So it started with the tree of creation. It started with the description of a tree with its roots upwards and branches downwards and intertwining of all the twigs. And then it has directed us how to make our path to get at the trunk, because the trunk is not easily reachable when you are in these spirals of all this. So you have to cut the path to reach the trunk. The trunk is the I am. So this is about the 6th stanza. Up to 6 stanzas we have done. So we continue our study. You keep studying, and we continue the study. Our group study, whenever it is once again, it is given to us.
Yes, to meet it.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we are planning our youngsters, our young software